Hi, Sportster Paul. We're here with VisualMill by Mexsoft, VisualCAD sometimes called, VisualCAM occasionally. We're going to look at T-slots and undercuts, and we're just going to look at the undercuts because I can't figure out a way to do it. Might be operator error. Follow along and see. T-slots is fantastic. They had a programmer or a contractor just really do the job, although in a way that, you've got to know dimensions and type in hard dimensions. It doesn't let you select things. So that's kind of AutoCAD 10, 1991 or whenever it was. So let's get up to SolidWorks. Here it is. I've got it, in the tools. I've enabled the VisualCAM, VisualMill add-in. This is the demo program. So it doesn't let you save, which is going to be a problem. Now, the thing I loved about VisualMill was the way you started and the ease of use. It starts here. You just double click on machining job. I got a 4-screen monitor, or 4 monitor setup, so I got to drag these on. You make sure that this is aligned the way you're going to hold a part in the machine the first time, and you just flip it around. The other thing, this is lets you do things like feed rates and maximum feeds, maximum speeds. Great, simple, cool. The post, this is Mach 4 in my Avid Benchtop Pro, beautiful little stiff, can machine aluminum all day long. So it's a Mach 4, but Mach 3 is probably close enough. Because this is an assembly with the fixtures. I use the same assembly that I did for the fixturing episodes in all these CAM programs. It's got this parts thing, and you double click on that, and you don't want to machine the clamps, you want to machine this. So you just point on it, it shows up here. Get out of that, close that. Stock, I had some issues where in simulations the stock wasn't working. I had to completely erase it and start. It's got some of those same issues. For this demonstration, I'm just saying copy the bounding box. Just make it as big as the extents of the part because we want to be quick here. But then here's the great thing. It's set up east-west because I'm saying the clamps are east-west, right? This is the way it's going to sit in my or sit in the machine with where the fixed jaw would usually be back here and the movable jaw. This is my side of the machine. I use this little hole here to kind of remind me how it's sitting. So clamps east-west, instead of the clamps that north and south here, this over in the configurations, I've turned that on so you can see that. No big deal. And oops, always wants to rename. Double click it. And then this is the same thing where, it kind of inherits the machine. So it's the setup is already correct as far as the orientation. Positive X in my particular machine, off to the right, positive Y to the back, Z is pointing up. So, but the thing I love about VisualMill, rather than like SolidCAM, where you got to go back and forth between the coordinate sys and the stock, and then back into the coordinate sys, and then back into the stock. This one has work 0. I speak that language. My machinist buddies taught me about part 0 or work 0. You double click on that. Oh no, I did a rename. Look, it'll let you rename work 0. How about that? If you prefer to say part 0. And the beautiful thing about this is it lets you set to stock box. So it puts it up in the corner and then north, northwest. Let's here pick, set to stock box. So there it is. Because I did have these, I did a trial run with the stock bigger. So that's why it was way up here. This is a perfect way to show you how simple it is to change the most important thing where G000 is going to be, right? Before you get to any G54 offsets. So there it is. And the orientation's right. It inherits that. So that's cool. So, oh, look, perimeter bombed out. Why did that do? Oops. Cannot post while running in demo mode. Regenerate. Okay, so now it got smart. Here's the tool path. This is just because I was having trouble seeing how accurate it was cutting to here. I did a perimeter. The thing about this program, SolidCAM and SolidWorks CAM by CAMWorks, by CAMWorks, they have this color-coded simulator. Much better than the BobCAD or the MasterCam simulator. So you can go to the simulate, say play, it does its thing. Let's speed it up a little bit, right? Zing, zing, zing. And then you do compare. And this is saying, well, since the stock box was set, it's going to be green. In other words, perfect within 3 10,000ths of an inch. It's a little goofy compared to the SolidCAM one that's always dead on. You know, you think the math would be dead on. It's showing a little bit of gouginess here and here. Excess, of course, where we haven't done it yet. So that concerned me a little, and I tried messing with it like I did in one of the early shows where I'll double click on this perimeter. Come on. It's slowing down. It might be getting ready to crash. That'll be embarrassing. So where was it? Cut parameters. I went to a 10,000th of an inch here, and then advanced cut parameters, perform arc fitting, 10,000ths. Didn't seem to make a difference, but we got that. Now, T-slots. I erased the original T-slot because it was screwing up the way the stock showed. So by highlighting here and say 2-axis, look at this, right there, T-slotting. Dialog box comes up. First thing it wants is geometry. Now the way the dialogues, as we get into them here, I think their design intent was to select this edge, you know, the outside edge of the slot. For me, that causes a problem because then I got to know the distance here, and it's just a pain. So I'm going to select this line, and you'll see why. If you go further, we're gouging into this arc, right? And I can't, with a square edge tool, I can't get it to do that arc the way I could in SolidCAM. Tool. 1/10 of an inch T-slot. Let's leave it. It's a T-slot that's a 1/10 of an inch. And of course, it's helping us by only selecting, it calls these face mills. I've renamed them to T-slot, but you know, VisualMill, it lets you draw an arbitrary profile and make that a tool. So you can create your own tool, and I assume that will work in the simulator. So if you're going to have form tools or tools your buddy grinds into a shape, that's fantastic. Feeds and speeds, we don't care. Entry exit, I think we had to mess with this. Maybe not. Let's not worry about it. This is where, you know, they did all this work. What's the step down? Well, the tool is a 1/10 of an inch, so it's going to take 25%. The step over, they always use different terminology than my machinist. 25%. I don't know if that's important. Note, here is rough. Here is rough and finish. Roughing only, finish only. So we'll leave them both on, even though it's kind of silly. Step down, see now it does even a finer step down and a finer step over for the finish. And so that's kind of straightforward, you know, nothing too crazy. I don't think we even changed anything, right? And like all of their, it's a pretty good user interface. But what I hate, here's where the interface starts going south. All these 2 rows of tabs, which I hate. Where am I? And then the tabs change position. The same cut parameters might be over here for one. Control geometry, well, that usually is on the bottom left. So let's do cut parameters. Okay, so let's make it accurate. The slot start depth. Well, because we picked here instead of, see, they should really show a red line here and saying geometry, right? Then you'd know what all this is relative to, but they didn't get quite to that. That's an easy fix. But our slot depth is 0, right? Because we're right there on that line. The slot height, how wide is this slot? Well, I happen to know it's 2, and this is why it's ridiculous. You got to type in numbers instead of pointing, like VisualMill does in other things. Here's the top, here's the bottom. I wish they would do that. 2.0, what was it? 2.0125, I think it was. See, this is where you make mistakes, right? I'm too lazy to go over into the SolidWorks tree and figure out exactly what this slot is. The slot width, right? Well, that's how far in from the geometry, which they figure should be right here, but my geometry, so my slot width is 0, okay? Then I guess stock is only going to apply to the roughing. So let's leave this and see how it works. We only want to climb mill. I'm pretty sure you go left when you climb mill. I think we're ready to go. Let's say generate. Select control geometry. Oh, I know what I did. I keep doing this, right? I go select it, but that doesn't do anything. You got to say you're going to select it. This is classic programmer speak, right? And then select it. And then it shows up in the SolidWorks kind of menu here. And now it shows up here. And if you have sketches, then it'll artificially put stuff here you don't want, but that's life. Well, I saw, and it's still on the wrong side. It's unbelievable to me how, climb. Hey, you know what direction you've chosen to do. double click on it again, come over, cut parameters. Isn't climb milling on the left? Sometimes, see, this is the other thing. Sometimes it seems to be on the left, other times it's not. That's more what we want. Okay, so let's go here. We're already there, I'm sorry, simulate. And let's play. So there's the roughing. See, it leaves stock even on the finishing. I thought I'd fix this. Double click. Always trying to leave stock. So let's change it a little more radically. Cut control, just finish. And we've got our stuff here about, step overs and step downs. Cut parameters now. Let's go 0, 0, and 0. Now before this left stock up here and I had to go 0.001, but let's see what happens. Generate. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Simulate, play. Same problem. Matter of fact, now it's leaving stock in both. So it's got a double bug, whereas before it just had a single bug. All right. See, that there shouldn't be any stock there because we said stock. Now, what I had to fix this before is 0.0001 and 0.00. It wants to remember this so bad. Generate. That doesn't look like that fixed it either. Well, I'm kind of going to be embarrassed. Yeah, didn't fix it this time. Okay, well, you can see the kind of joy. See, unlike the demo, the salesman with the demo program, I show you all the screw ups. Let's see, let's go to cut control, say roughing. Maybe now it'll obey something. Let's just do it, see what happens. Ah, now it seemed to heal. All right, so call it operator error, whatever. I'm not going to argue. Play, zing, zing, zing. It did seem to do 2 passes. I'm not sure why, even though, like I say, some things about this program don't quite seem ready for prime time. But that's as good as you're going to do, right, with a square edge tool. So now let's play around a little bit with a form tool. I don't know if it'll let me. I doubt it. Tool. Let's do edit the tool and see if it has a radius. Here it comes. See, it's not showing a radius here that we could fluff this thing out. Holder length, taper, shoulder length, tool diameter. There's nothing to put this radius here. So let's cancel out of this. Tools. Maybe if I highlight that, it'll give us all the tools. That's a fantastic little thing here. And it doesn't, see, because you're in T-slot, it only lets you pick T-slots tools, where I fooled it before with a lollipop tool, or, you put a funky radius on it. Oh, gosh. I don't think there's any way to fix it. So, okay, no way. I guess you see, and then okay, I'll put a radius, full, radius on this thing, and I'll figure out. And of course, now the tool would have to be as thick as the slot, and you got all those issues. So, compared to SolidCAM, a little clumsy. So there we are, 13 minutes. We got a slot cut. Life is good. Now let me show you all the things why I couldn't do an undercut. I said, okay, undercut. Let's try horizontal finishing. For the control geometry, we will select this curved surface. We'll limit the distances, between here and here as far as where you're going to cut. This will all work out great. So I'll double click on horizontal finishing, and it doesn't see, and the thing I learned last show, if you select the word surface here, it's a surface edge. They say surface boundary. If they said surface edges, you'd kind of understand, because I should have seen it. All they populate here, edge, edge, edge. What you really want to notice on some operations, part surfaces come lit up. And this is where I've, select surface here. I'm messing with the tools. Here, let's try this tool. This is like if it overshoots, center a tool, edge a tool, all the things that SolidCAM had figured out. Let's say generate, and it thinks for a bit. Oh, this one said it did it. Well, maybe I've cured this thing. Let's see if we solve this. Play. I don't know where this is cutting, but it's certainly not cutting where I want it. Hide this, hide this. Toolpaths are on. Where did it go? Come on, play. Oh, now it's acting like it did before. Horizontal finishing. Let's go back here. Horizontal, oh, come on. Or double click on it. I get this scary thing that we're going to crash any minute. Say generate. Well, at least it tried to generate. This is different than when I practiced. And of course, it's doing the entire part. It's doing the goofiest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's on the wrong side of the part. It's obviously confused. At least it works. Look at that. It's just doing the weirdest thing. I'm calling that blown up. Let me show you. Here, let's do this. Maybe that's what's... Let's suppress our T-slot. And let's go over here and play now. Okay? And so it's smart enough. And so let's go horizontal finishing. This is further than I got last time. Part surfaces. Remove all, select surface, just this guy. Okay? Oh, come on. Getting excited. Tool, I wanted a narrow tool. Yeah, a 30,000th thick, because, I want it to do multiple slices and go down. Cut parameters, I don't care. Optimized machining, I don't think we got to worry. Cut levels, see, I define these levels. Let's do it again. Cut level, and, well, you can actually see it, right? You can see the green and the red plane. It's right where you'd expect. I want one to be there. I want the other. This is where you got to love this program, right there. Right? So it's got the right cut levels. Now, cut knows how everything moves around. Cut parameters is over here on this. Climb, follow containment. Well, let's change something. This is dangerous when you change multiple things. See, and it left the tools all over the place. So that ain't happening. Let's suppress this one. Let's go to parallel finishing, say regenerate. Now it's acting like it did in practice, nothing to cut. So that's, instead of horizontal finishing, well, let's, they got all these 3D operations. It's pretty cool, right? All these things, but nothing that says undercut. And you can see towards the end here, I tried, well, let's try a 2D profile. See if that can fool this thing. It can't. And so here, same thing for the control geometry, that same curve. Here, it doesn't even try. Here, I said, oh, horizontal roughing. Maybe we'll tell it it's a roughing operation. Here, I tried finishing, tried parallel finishing, and I changed the angle, 0 degree, 90 degree, anything I could think of. Control geometry, same thing. So it fails all of them, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these and just erase them. Then we're going to go here. We're going to easily make our half-hour show. What did I do for geometry? See, it won't let you use this. This is where stuff poofs and goes away, and sometimes it's there. If they have an operation where you can pick a surface, because it's a 3D, instead of saying select surface boundary, have a box down here, select surface, and then gray it out when it's not applicable, like this operation, and light it up when it is applicable. Because then, a month ago, I would have seen, oh, surface boundary, surface itself. Okay, but that's all right. We've done our thing, right? It's got that surface. No avoids, tool, what am I using? The thin one again, right? I'm trying to go along that surface and cut a whole bunch. Clearances, we don't care. Cut parameters, we don't care, I don't think. Or is this, yeah, see, didn't cut parameters used to be over here? Why did they do this? It's insane. Right of curve, left of curve, same thing. I always thought left means climb. Maybe not. Go here. Oh, it did something. This time it worked again. Maybe because I erased all that. So this is a big deal. Oh no, this is going to act, this one didn't fail. It lit up because I went into SolidWorks maybe. I don't know why. This is going to do this horrible gouge and go crazy. So zing, zing, does 2, saws way into the part, even though that surface was defined. I have no idea what this thing thinks it's doing, right? So T-slots, if you're in the mainstream of what the world thinks a T-slot is, right? Square, whatever, it works fine. Undercuts, I don't think it can do it. I looked on the web, I didn't see anything there. So, that's a detriment. As I've come to learn, the most capable program is SolidCAM. I like it way better than MasterCam, and they're, kind of pricey, both of them. I think it's about $5,000 for the base. And then you get packages. You want surfacing, $2,000. You want 3D eye machining, $2,000. You want high-speed machining, or HSM, high-speed, it's, 3D, that's $2,000. High-speed roughing, HSR, $2,000. So it's easy to get up, 10, 12 grand. But they do a couple of base packages. But, we'll talk about that in the roundup when we compare all these packages in the great finish to this whole bake-off. So that's it. Sorry I couldn't do undercuts. That may be operator error. At least it didn't crash, right? Because there have been stability issues with VisualMill when I get doing a whole bunch of stuff. Last one we're going to do, VisualMill as fast as I can. And that's because I learned about how, oh no, there's surfaces down here that they're boundary of the surface, but then this tab appears every once in a while. That's what I should have selected on that test part we made where, the 1/4-inch flat end mill goes down the slopes to do them nice and perfect, the way my buddy Dave taught me, guy who designed that test part. So I want to try that. We'll do it as fast as we can. I assume it'll be about the same 20, 25 minutes it's taken all the programs to do it as fast as I could. All right. And that'll be a speeded up version of first impression, second impression, third impression, fourth, I think I did for VisualMill. Okay, Sportster Paul, good luck with your CAM projects. Catch you next time. Bye.